And so just so you understand the learning process, it's not me say you do. Learning process is you guys developing your learning by doing. And part of that learning process is you guys talking about it to each other. Alright? So doing, thinking how that feels, seeing how it turns out, listening, and then discussing about it. And that's how hopefully you'll generate your own learning. And along the way, if I feel I need to inject myself into something, that's what we'll do. So that's how we kind of run this tute at the moment. Some of these things. So there's some things I want you to think about while you're working on the product of doing a live recording for this song. Number one, balancing in the room as musos. Listening as musos. The band needs to think about that. We talked about it last week, the balancing in the room. In here, Luke and whoever else need to think about the replication of that sound via technology from there to in here, that transference of what you guys are achieving in there. Performance practices, meaning musical listening for the artist, listening to yourself, listening to who you're playing with and listening to that collective sound. And then what we'll do once you've done the performance, we'll bring you in and we'll do a different form of listening, which is critical listening. So when you're performing, you'll be engaging with creative listening and musical listening. But when we come in here and we listen to it back, you'll be able to analyse it and critically listen to your performance, critically listen to the sonics, critically listen to the transference of the room. And then you can analyse it more. When you're in there playing, we don't really want you at this stage to think of that. You've got to think musically. And after that, that's when we talk about it. That's when we're going to break it down and communicate about it. So I just want you to think about those things. Think about what we talked about last week. Social environment, the vibe, your communication processes, emotion while you're playing, performance aspects, and Luke and whoever, your engagement with technology and how that's manifesting our recording. Okay, they're kind of the big scheme things to think about while you're in, because we're in a learning environment. What happens when we step into the professional world is that becomes known, the vibe, technology, using it, playing it, feeding off each other's musos. But in this situation, the learning environment, we're trying to learn that and get that acquired knowledge of that. That's the purpose behind these tubes. Alrighty, so let's go. Let's set up, let's make things happen, and let's see how we go. Set up in progress. Live recording of Rolling Stones' Miss You. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. For a minute, please. Before we start, let's just make sure that you're across what you need to accomplish in this one run through. The key to live performance is being fresh. So we don't want to play it 4 times so Luke learns what structure you're playing. Communicate early, talk about what you're doing, communicate with the singer, run through it once. While you're doing it, analyse what's going down, and then you can talk about it.
It sounds empty. I've been sleeping all alone. Lord, I miss you. I'll come in actually with the harp solo after the lead guitar. I think it's better to come in with the lead straight after.
No worries. Yeah. So we're still going to have that quiet point. And then,
and
do
then
you say anything in that?
Yeah, then I'll go take.
Okay. And then we're just going to build that section up here.
Yeah.
And then drop down a bit for harp solo. And then, are we still ending with you?
Yeah, you got to.
First communication, let's get Joel, make sure that he can hear you talking. Let's start talking. Get communication established, and then you can start checking your lines.
Okay. Does John know on 1/4?
Vocals?
Yep, I've told you.
Joel, can you hear me, mate? Yeah, cool.
Room.
Alright, sweet. We'll get everything else.
Wait,
done
is
then.
room?
I want you to get used to doing one at a time and go back to Pro Tools. When you go to snare, unmute the snare, so you're in mass mute mode when you pull your sound. Yeah. back to tools. You pan it if it's needed. It's not needed. If it's the snare drum, do your hi-hat. Unmute that. Go back to analog desk. Push that fader up. Do your preamp gain structure. Right now, sorry, I'm just going to stop here. I'll probably solo the hat now. So you can just hear that. Yeah. You're going to need phantom power on that channel. It's on line input at the moment. Put it to mine. Yep. And phantom power. Yep. Here it comes.
Yep.
Push the fader up. What kind of mic is it? Does it need phantom power? That's line input. You need mic input. So it's a cold, so you don't want phantom power.
Yep.
So the whole idea is pull your sounds and balance at the same time. While you're pulling sounds, you balance.
Okay, so
everything's working in Pro Tools. We've got signals through everything. So what I want to do is I want you to play, and we're going to record one. As the recording, if you need to fix things, you do it. Usually this first one is going to be, we should be ready, but let's just promote doing. It's not about, today it's not about the end product being great. It's about learning what we can do better in this process. So let's set up to record one, fine tune as they put it down, and then we'll come and have a quick listen and chat about it. Alright? But start getting into that performance state if you weren't there already. And we're going to talk about that anyway. So the whole point right now, Luke, is you've done well. You want to get it to a point where they can come and listen to a perspective of how it's going. Yeah. So the balance is good. You just want them to be able to hear every part, and then we'll communicate and talk about how it's coming across. Cool. And now they're finished. So we're always up 5. We're always cool. Come and have a listen. I'll talk to you about it when they do. Okay, cool. So let's just talk about how that was in there. Let's talk about what you're hearing, what you're playing, how you felt.
Yeah, it was fun.
Great.
Yeah, I think once we kind of had everything kind of, the room sounding a bit better, like the rehearsal, like the vibe just locked in, and me and Marius kind of were able to kind of just get locked
So
in.
turning the amps around a bit helped?
That felt really good for me anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do feel like the few times we played before we recorded, we had a bit better energy going.
Yeah.
But
Why do you think that is? Is there a reason?
probably because
Red
now
light,
we're ready to record. Before we were just like, alright, let's just play in the middle, and we're just not thinking about it.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
trying to be really clean.
So one of our jobs is to kind of make you feel like you're never in a record. It's just, let's play it. The environment should be, it's not about recording, it's about playing. Forget about recording, play. Interesting.
There's a separation because me and Joel are on cans and no one else is here, so I feel detached from the other dudes. Also, I practiced with the 58 and then I'm doing the SM7, so it was like a different world. I need more of a run through with this SM7.
Cool. So following those comments, why don't we just play you like 30 seconds of it coming through the speakers? Because it's really important for you to kind of go, this is how it was in there. How's it coming through? How is that energy coming through?
Another thing that was different is we couldn't really hear Bennett this time around.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why there
Yeah.
wasn't
That's why I went to wrong bits, I think.
It was more like a backing band sort of thing. But when he was singing, it was like, alright, I'd
So
rather just
do you want to tape the 58 to the SM7 and just put a little bit through the PA, just a tiny bit, so you can hear it? Let's just quickly have a listen. We'll process what we're going to do.
What's the matter with you, boy? Sometimes I just want to say to myself, sometimes I say, sometimes I say. I love you, baby.
Where you want to be. And I think we just put a little bit of vocal through the PA. I'm liking where you're all sitting right now. Put headphones on, you're going to change the vibe. So let's do that. Let's just get some gaff and put the 58. I'll go get some gaff and we'll tape it to the SM7. So now we've got to get a feel if they want to do another one straight away or come and listen. We really want them to tell us. You want to crack?
Alright, that was an awesome take, guys. What do you reckon? Do you want to just go straight ahead and do another one, or do you want to come in and have a listen, see what you think of this one?
One more?
Do one more? Alright. Yeah, I heard that.
No swearing in class, please.
Just stop everything.
Get him in.
Come in.
Nice.
Boys!
Yeah.
Boys!
Usually they put a ticket on your windscreen, wouldn't they?
I don't know.
Maybe it's a surprise for you.
So I want you to listen to one of them. Which one? That one?
Yeah.
Turn that off. Thanks, buddy. Which one? First or second?
Second.
Let's listen to the second one. Phoenix, can we make room so the boy at the band can sit in the middle? Yeah, hey, I want you all on lounge, but I want you to listen. How many times have I told you, no swearing in my classes, please? Hey, so listen, how we're going to do it through the year is this way. We're going to do, and then we're going to talk. And when we talk, I want you to think about it this way. Those of you who have played, you're the performers, you're the artists. Those of you who didn't, the facilitators. And so what I want to do now is I want to talk about those of you who didn't play. Give me something that meant something to you, something that you thought was awesome about what you just heard, something that worked, something that was a positive about what was done. As artists, I want you to get used to being criticised or analysed by others and taking that on board, being open to that as much as you can. All right, just getting used to that process with your peers in this room. What happens in this room stays in this room. This is a learning environment. So I'm sure you'd have something that you like from that.
Oh, I really love the guitar work. I reckon that sounds fucking wicked, dude.
Cool.
I love that shit, and I love your performance as well. The energy's awesome.
Thanks.
Kelsey, you got anything?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing, just like the energy that they had and the way they were like clicked in together so well.
Yeah. Alex?
No, just all locked in really well. Rhythm section was really tight. Yeah, I was thinking the drums pretty nail.
Wasn't that one thing that we tabled as really important that Jagger could?
Take off.
And just quietly, Jagger deserves a golf clap. Seriously. For me, because I've heard this being done a few times, that's a hard song to sing. Trust me, it takes a seasoned performer, that's why I choose it, to sing it well. It is, it's a hard song to sing well. Especially in the recording studio, which is a different environment to sing at a pub. You know what I mean? And it was interesting because I always look through the glass and he's jumping around and he's carrying on, he's carrying just like he's at a gig. It's important for you guys now that you've heard that, the artists, to say, hey, what do you guys think about this? So there's elements in there that I still think could, you know, as artists, are there elements that you guys have heard and say, hey, I'd like some opinion on this element of what we just did?
I do feel myself that I didn't mix up the bass little things that to play enough. Like I felt like I kept doing the same sort of things because I was. So I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Has anyone got comments on the bass part?
I don't know if it's you or me, but as a guitarist going to play bass, I always feel like I should be doing more when really I'm just holding that line tightly enough, you know. But I think there's some nice variation in there.
It's probably that feeling when you've got a few things sort of planned out and you know you can hit them but you don't.
Yeah, no,
you feel like you haven't spent all your money. It's like,
yeah, because I was rehearsing. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna
Got some money left.
Spend some money, man.
but you don't get your money's worth out there.
So I think it's important that we stay on topic too. Like the bass part, was there too much? Was it okay? Was there anything about it? He's asked for some critical analysis of what he did. Give it to him. He's open to it.
I like what you did, man.
I think with everyone, like I heard you playing, it's all like jumpy and that, and like it's really good.
Like, I don't know, it didn't stick out to me as bad at all. Like, it was,
No,
I was like this the whole time. I was vibing it the whole time, so.
I felt the same way with keys, like I was sort of playing the same thing, and those little stabs when the guitars came.
I think it's important that we all go, you know what, if someone's got an opinion, I'd like to hear it. Are you guys open to that? You open to hearing everyone's opinions?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just reflection on what we did. So
I'd like people to have an opinion on my like timekeeping, because this is probably the first live recording I've ever done on drums, and I can play them, but I'm obviously not a drummer in a band. So
Yeah,
I think out of all of the takes, the last one was probably the most consistent. But I would like people's opinion
I
on
did
that.
not notice any beats out of place, but what I did notice, I think the last take was a little bit faster than the ones before it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I think so too, and I
we
have no
stopped it. I went, oh, stop, we'll do it again, and it's like, oh, okay, and we'll back in. I think it picked up a little bit.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Mark playing, I didn't really know when to be in either part, or if I should have just been doing stabs or that kind of stuff.
So how could we help Luke out with that? How
That was
could we
probably
learn?
just him not rehearsing with us thing. That's
There
all.
you go.
Like, that's not your fault.
There you go.
We didn't rehearse with him.
So that's a pretty obvious reason as to why you might
Yeah.
feel that way.
To me,
I would have liked to have Luke mic'd as well for the vocal. I think we
Yeah, I
lost it a
agree,
bit.
for the harmony,
Yeah.
that was fresh.
Yeah.
I've got an opinion.
Oh, have you got an opinion, Brendan?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have too many opinions, but the thing about live recording, to me, that really accentuates the fact that it is live, is that bleed through microphones. That, and I heard him singing the falsetto Who's, and I said to you, I said, who's singing the Who's? Who's doing the backing vocals? And he said, oh, Luke is. And I'm thinking, oh, it must be the room mic. I actually loved the fact that he wasn't mic'd up and it was just another voice over the top.
that's what I kind of wanted to see
Yeah.
the back of that goal.
So, you know, what we've got to think about is recording process, technology, facilitating the image. So if you're going to close your eyes and picture yourselves when you're playing this, did the music and the sound replicate that image, that emotion, that feel? And there's some areas it did. That was one for me. We're talking about musicality, we're talking about sonics, and we're talking about emotional transference. And as producers, we need to be able to hear a lot of these. And it'd be great for you to say, yeah, I thought this.
I think maybe like the connection between all the musicians as a group could have been a bit better, maybe.
I think it's fair enough to admit that. You know? But if it was me and we're going to try and release this, I'd probably do one more.
Yeah, I wanted to
You
keep
do-
going.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Let's say that. Let's bring that out. I wouldn't mind the opportunity to do another one. Because I think we can do better. That's a real critical reflection of where you're at. But we're also playing with something here, aren't we? We're playing with fire. We're playing with a song that you don't want the band to play too much.
So if you've got the opportunity to go for another take because you've heard some things in your critical listening that you missed, as a band, as a unit, or as an individual, you should just go, okay, cool, no worries, I'll go and fix that, and just go and do it.
But for the concept of that spontaneous energy which comes from in the earlier takes that gets lost in the later takes, like that is the thing. But yeah, I think you're right too. Like from a professional point of view, you should be able to, if not get better each time through, because you're nutting out little bits and pieces.
That's such a fine line that I think you're always pendulum between both sides of that equation, where it's just like, it sounds so raw, then you go, you know, knowing where that line is of are you actually making it better? Like, yes, it's tighter, yes, and all that, but have you getting the feel better? Like all those elements, I think that's like such an important thing to learn.
And
with the ears
doesn't
as
that
well.
come down to the relationship of the band and the nurturing of each other, knowing that ideally Benny will sing it 3 times, ideally. So as a group, you know, you come together and you're really on your game when it's time to be on your game. I mean, he's a seasoned performer. You can see that he switches it on when he's got to do it, and then he doesn't need to do it. He turns it off for a bit, and then he turns it back on. Like Ben, sounds to me, he could sing it a few times. But to nurture his performance, it will be awesome. And this is the key. This is the key to live recording, that the musicians switch it on too. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, we're warming up, guys. We're sound checking out. Righto, here we go. Boom. Whatever that is. And I think you're right there. Then you go, look, we've got to come together this next take.
Yeah.
And instead of doing it 10 times, you go, yeah, we can do that, yeah, we can do that, yeah, we fucked Ben up.
Yeah.
We go, righto, let's really, that's why that you come in and you critically listen and you go, this, this. Go back in, create. And you man up on that. So I think you are right and I think you are right. But I think you've got to kind of bring those two together. But this is what I want to put Luke under the pump with, is that you should be able to mix, and he was, and balance to a final mix in that time. Boom. That we could print that as they're tracking that last one. And the lead guitar sound, for me, if you listen to it, it's a little bit roomy. And maybe, because of the amp situation, maybe we could look at your tone a bit more. And perhaps the whole thing is still sounding a bit modern. Just a little bit. It could be a little bit edgier, a little bit dirtier, which means a little bit of fine-tuning with regards to, would we really use SSLs? Or would we use a 1073 on the kick and the snare? Or, do you know what I'm saying? And maybe a little bit more fine-tuning with regards to the most important thing, your sound. The sound in there really, Luke's done, those guys have done a great job to get that, sounding like that, in 30 minutes. Trust me, it's a great job, yeah. But for us to do what we've got to do in here as musicians, it's got to happen. Every time. Okay, listen, I just want to say something to you. I think you had a great advantage because it was a nice band, it was a really good band, and a really solid singer for a very hard song. I think I could comfortably say that's the best any class has ever done on that. And here too, to get that sorted so you can have 3 goes at it in an hour and a half, that's crazy. So now you've got to pack up.
It was all pretty seamless too, that was a good thing too. It was
Yeah.
not like, oh, we fucking, there's something, hang on, we just gotta, it was all working.
Alright, come together in whatever key you want.